Yo guys, welcome to another episode of the Tate Poddy, aka the Dauth and Tahmana podcast. We are back, episode 5. I'm your boy, Old Zan, aka Old Xander, your boy. I'm with Tahmana once again. Are you keen for this episode?
Oh yeah, I'm keen.
Let's go. We got another episode of chatting shit and then talking about a bit of sport at the end. So, let's cover the previous episode. It was the longest episode yet. It was a whole hour talking mostly about sport with Nugget. What were your thoughts on it, Tahmana?
Look, I think I really enjoyed that chat we had with Nugget, honestly. It was great content. An hour-long episode. Can't go wrong there.
Yeah, exactly right. Look, a lot of people left after the sport recap, but it's alright. There's going to be people out there that don't like certain bits of it, and there's going to be people that like other bits of it, and there's some that like the whole thing. So, look, we just talk about anything and everything. So, obviously, if you don't like something, you're obviously just going to leave. But yeah, I feel like it was a good chat as well, even though I didn't really talk much in the sport recap and didn't really have a lot of input. It was still a very good chat, and Nugget is a great bloke to just chat to in general.
Agreed. Yeah, Nugget's just a great person to chat to, and he kept the conversation going for ages. We love that. Love to see it.
Exactly. He could have talked for like 2 hours probably. He could keep talking like all day. He loves just chatting about sport.
Yeah, and as said in the previous episode, if you guys really want, we can bring him back on the podcast. Maybe less talk about sport, maybe to talk about something else. Who knows?
Exactly. So, like, obviously, whatever you guys tell us to do in the live chat or the comments, we will most likely try get around to doing. Whether it's getting him on another episode, doing a video with him outside the potty, you just got to let us know what to do, and we'll get to you with that.
Oh yeah.
All right. So we've spoken about this man a lot, in episodes, and it's KSI. He was fighting Alex Asabi. Alex Asabi pulled out because of a head injury. Then he was fighting Swarms, and now he's fighting Swarms and another pro boxer. Look, I reckon fighting two people in the one night never really been done before. It is pretty crazy. I wouldn't do it because if he wins one and lose one, he's just gonna look like an absolute dickhead because he's fighting two people because he knows he can win both. He knows he can fight them. But what are your thoughts on that, Tahmana?
Look, I have to agree with you there. I mean, he's fighting two people in one night. Hasn't been done before. If he pulls it off, props to him. KSI, one of the best YouTube boxers of all times. Um, but if he doesn't pull it off, and if you said, one, loses one, wins one, or whatever order it is in, that really proves something. He might have too big of an ego in that situation.
Yeah, exactly right. But on the topic of the fight, Swarms, the so-called rapper and professional footballer we found out in the last episode that I didn't actually know about, and he made a diss track on KSI because obviously he's a rapper. He ain't a boxer, never boxed, and it was basically just like a Sideman diss from like back in the day. There was nothing really crazy, no crazy bars, like he didn't really get exposed too much. It was basically just like a little Sideman diss. I showed you it before we recorded, Tahmana. What are your overall thoughts on it?
Look, my thoughts on that diss track. I mean, look, he's got it's a decent diss track. I've heard worse, but he's got to be focusing on the fight. He's the underdog coming in this. Let's be real. KSI is expected to wipe the floor with him. Um, I don't know anyone that thinks Swarms will win. No one's seen Swarms box, or at least for a while. At least I'm not sure if he has actually boxed, but like he shouldn't be focusing on making a diss track. He should be focusing on training, and I stick by that.
Exactly right. Like he's a rapper, never boxed before. He should be training really hard because he wants to really win this fight because he called out KSI. He shouldn't be wasting his time trying to make some silly song that is catchy but not really much of a diss. So yeah, that's our opinions on the diss track overall. Like he really should just be working on fighting because, like Tahmana said, he is the underdog. So if he does win, props to him. But yeah, he really should be training more. So I reckon KSI is definitely gonna win, like we said in the previous episode. So now moving on, Sidemen have started another business, another brand type thing. They've got vodka, sides, and all that jazz. And they have now started Sidemen Tops cards. So there's a brand, Tops, who do like football cards and all that. And they've collabed to do Sidemen trading cards. Kind of like Pokemon kind of thing, but there's cards and they're going to have like, special things on them. Like there might be like a golden card or something like that. And there might be like a hide and seek card or, bits to do with Sidemen Sundays. And they're also going to have their individual cards. Like there'll be a card for, KSI, Simon, Rodershaw, all of them. So, what are your thoughts on them starting the Sidemen Tops cards, Tahmana?
Look, it'll be interesting to see. Just another way for the Sidemen to make money, really. And a lot of people in the UK will be collecting. I'm not sure if it's going to come overseas for us, but we'll have to find out.
Exactly. If it does, we might do some unboxing. Outside the potty, we might do a little unboxing if it does. As well as if we can get some hands on some Prime, we'll do a little taste testing video. I would really love to do that. Because there has been some Prime, but obviously, it's really hard to find. So if we can get our hands on anything like that, click the notification bell because we'll be uploading a video about it, and we'll be letting you know when. And yeah, check the TikTok because that's where we put stories up on when everything's going to be coming out. And yeah, that's basically all we got for talk all about Sidemen and KSI's new match. We're going to get into some music. Then we got Tahmana gonna talk about a few things, and then I'm gonna jump back in and talk about Jacked Out coming back to YouTube. So the Chats band from Australia, from Queensland, who did songs such as Smoko, Pub Feed, Temperature, all that Aussie rock, pub rock songs. They have made an album called Get Fucked. What are your thoughts on the album, Tahmana?
Look, my thoughts on this album, decent addition, I guess. I know you listen to a lot of their music, Braith, so it'd be good to hear. I haven't heard songs from their album yet, but it sounds, from your review at least, it sounds decent.
Yeah, 100%. They're just Aussie bands rapping. I was about to say, singing about Aussie stuff. With songs such as "Out on the Street," "Panic Attack." I'm just gonna quickly get up some of the songs. So we got 6 Liter GTR, Boggo Breakdown, Struck by Lightning, Southport Superman, Panic Attack, Ticket Inspector, The Price of Smokes, Dead on Sight, Paid Late, I've Been Drunk in Every Pub in Brisbane, Emperor of the Beach, Out on the Street, and Get Better. They are all the songs in the new album of the Chats, Get Fucked, which you can get on all streaming services. And look, there's only like a couple in there that I don't personally like myself, but majority of the album is pretty good. I like it. I'm into, the rock. I play guitar, so I like all the rock bands. And yeah, it should be good.
Yeah, should be good. Should be good to see. All right, what else have you got for us, Braith?
All right, I'm going to pass it over to you, and you're going to talk about a few of your topics.
Oh,
So,
okay. All
yeah,
right. Well, I'd
get that
first like to
started.
mention, actually, ever since starting the podcast, we've been trying our hardest, and now, myself and Braith are certified to do social media work. Now, Braith, would you like to explain a little bit more what this means?
Yeah, so basically, there was a social media workshop that got announced at our school, and I messaged Tamana straight away. I was like, "We need to do this. This might help us for the podcast or just anything to do with that in general." Because Tamana edits videos, I'm into filming. We do the podcast, we do social media. We're into that field, and I thought it'd be really great. And it was like $5 or something, and we just when this lady spoke to us about social media, and we created an ad we got to pick something that was in the box of props, and we had to create an ad for that prop. Now, we did a wedding video for flowers. It was an ad about flowers. If you want to see the video, BNT Plus members only will see that. But yeah, it was pretty good, to be honest. Didn't really learn like an awful lot, but one thing that did stick with me, is that to be considered a micro influencer or like a small influencer, you need at least 3K, which I find 3K still a lot. Like I don't even have 1,000 on Instagram. I have like not even 500. Like 3K is a lot to can be considered a small influencer.
Well, I think the word influencer should mean, I agree with that number. The word influencer is a big thing, and even just a micro influencer is, considering an influencer is people with hundreds of thousands of followers, uh, a micro influencer, that's only like a fraction, a tiny little bit of like 100,000 followers, even. So I guess it's just.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, look, I get what you mean. I get what you mean. I kind of agree with it, but like, I think like as long as you're just making some form of social media content, you could be an influencer. You know what I mean? Like, you're not necessarily like Mr. Beast, like a big influencer or something like that, but you can consider yourself like an influencer, but really to be like have 3K, be a micro influencer, that's when you can say like my job is being an influencer because you're getting paid decent amount of money to do what you love doing, which is social media. Like if you got like 200 followers, yeah, you make content and you could say you're an influencer, but that's not actually your job description, your job title or whatever. You need at least 3K, which is understandable because, obviously like being an influencer, you need like hundreds and thousands of followers. So being a micro influencer, you just need like a small bit of that. So I agree
Yeah,
what you were saying there.
yeah. All right. Well, along with this little section about the podcast, I'd just like to say actually before we move on, Braith, I'm just talking from my experience. I don't know about you, but I personally didn't learn anything from that that little workshop we had.
Yeah, I didn't learn a single thing.
Yeah, I mean, cool, I guess. It doesn't really make any difference on anything we're going to do. So, now we're going to talk about the future plans for the BNT Poddy. So, Braith actually said that he has some future plans for the BNT Poddy, and I would like to hear them.
Well, well, the plans. We have a lot of plans moving forward with the podcast. Obviously, we're doing seasons, so we're going to keep up the seasons as long as we can. We're going to be doing videos outside of the podcast, so we're going to be having like episodes, um, like we've been doing every Friday, and then like we're gonna have some other videos, that are not to do with the podcast. Um, like we've got some videos that we're gonna film. I think next week we've got some videos that aren't podcast related that may or may not eventually make it its way to the YouTube channel. So if you want to see any outside content with some of the boys as well as Tahmana and all that, then definitely subscribe because it's going to be on the YouTube channel. And yeah, it should be good. We got a lot moving forward, so stay tuned.
Yeah, we'll try our best to get it out to you before it's too late, or before weeks and weeks pass. We want to try and get it out fresh and new. So that's our future plans for the BNT Potty. Now, the last topic I'd like to speak about before you can have some of the spotlight, and I'll talk about the obviously the mini sport recap. But the last topic I'd like to talk about is Andrew Tate being banned from social medias. Now, Braith, could you explain this further? I've heard this. I've heard the headline, but I think that people want to know, like, what happened to him, and what are your opinions on it?
So I think what happened as I was reading while I was in the live chat of episode 4 while I was out having my palmy at the RSL, and I came across it on someone's story and I clicked on the article, and apparently he posted something that didn't go with the guideline or like the whatever it was. He posted something and he got banned from Instagram and Facebook because of what he showed. And obviously there's things that people or like me agree with, and there's things that I don't agree with. Like he says some things about women and how to treat them and all, like, what you should do to women and that, and I don't agree with that. But when he says stuff like, do push-ups, don't vape, like I agree with that. Um, so yeah, I feel like maybe he deserved it. I don't know exactly what he got banned for, but obviously not everyone likes him, so maybe he deserved it.
Yeah, maybe he deserved it. It is what it is. He's quite controversial in that point of view.
Yeah, exactly. Some people like him, some people don't. A undisclosed teacher doesn't like him, and some people do. So it really depends on where you stand with the stuff that he says.
Yeah.
But yeah, maybe he did deserve it, maybe he didn't. Let us know your thoughts down below.
Exactly. Exactly. Let us know your thoughts. All right. That's the end of my topics other than the sport recap, which will come last. So, Braith, what would you like to speak about now?
All right, Jack Douth, scooter rider we spoke about in the first episode, who got me into doing YouTube and riding scooters and all that, has came back on YouTube. Look, he was a star in 2017, 2016, 17, a bit of 2018, and he was on and off for 2019 and 20. And I think he may have made a couple videos in 2021, but then he kind of died because of his mental health, and he just wasn't into it anymore, which is understandable. But now he's back, and he still has so many loyal fans that still love and watch his content, which is really good to see. There's so many people that, still love watching his old content and still like comment on a video that was posted 3 years ago, which is insane that people still stick around. And yeah, it's really good to see. So yeah, let's move on to the next topic, the Tahmana sport recap. Going to talk about a bit of sport that's happened over the week. Take it away, Tahmana.
Hell yeah, let's get it going. So, last week the Tahmana sport recap was absolutely like long as, um, it was. I mean, it was almost unnecessarily long, but we had Nugget on the podcast, which is once in a lifetime opportunity. So, it had to be that long. So this week to make up for it, we're just gonna go nice and short. This week only things I'm gonna go through are the results of match day 2, match day 3, and predictions of match day 4 of the Premier League, and then a funny sport moment that we have for this week, and that's it. So, very short sport recap, and we'll get it started off nice and simple with the results. So, on the weekend that we last filmed our podcast, it was time for match day 2 of the Premier League season. Myself, Nugget, and Braith made predictions, and now compared to the predictions we made, I'm going to compare them to the final scores. So if you'd like to see the predictions we made, go check out the other episode at the end, the Tahmana Sport recap. But the results of match day 2 were: we had Aston Villa versus Everton, which ended 2-1 to Aston Villa. We had Southampton taking on Leeds, which ended 2-2. We had Arsenal taking on Leicester City, which ended 4-2, which was an absolutely great score for Arsenal. Arsenal are currently sitting at the top of the table, so that's great compared to their last season start to their campaign. We had Brighton and Newcastle. They finished 0-0. Man City and Bournemouth finished 4-0. There was an upset for people there who triple captained Haaland for their FPL, including Nugget. I chose not to. But that he only scored something like 15 points that match week. So that's absolutely horrible for someone, playing in a team that's just won 4-0. I don't even know if he scored a goal. A couple of assists maybe. I'm not actually 100% sure. I can't remember. But we have Wolves and Fulham finishing 0-0. Now, probably the biggest upset of the weekend, we have Brentford 4, Manchester United 0. We don't talk about that. It's absolute disgrace. That might have to be a completely separate topic later on, the turmoil of Manchester United, but we don't talk about that. Now, something that we actually predicted. Nottingham Forest 1-0 to West Ham. Absolutely beautiful. All right. Next up, after Nottingham and West Ham, we have Liverpool and Crystal Palace. They drew 1-1. Fantastic game. Good to watch. And then after this game, we had probably one of the biggest games of the weekend. It was Chelsea 2, Tottenham 2. Now, as a Chelsea fan, Braith, what are your thoughts on this game? 2-2.
Look, it was a pretty close game. If I was watching, it would have been very stressful. And yeah, I'm just glad to say they didn't
Yeah.
lose.
Yeah, I'm glad to see they didn't lose either. Tottenham played well. Chelsea played well. It was a game of two evenly matched teams. You know, at the end of the game, Conte and Tuchel had a fight. And let's just say it didn't end up very well. They weren't very sportsmanship like. I believe Tuchel picked up a $35,000 fine and a one-match ban, and I'm not sure about the other party, but yeah. Now into match day 3, which is as of this weekend, the weekend that this episode's been recording. So the results that have currently gone through are Tottenham 1, Wolves 0. I believe Harry Kane scored that goal, or not 100% sure, but I know Son made the assist because of my FPL team. We have Everton 1, Nottingham Forest 1. Now I'd just like to say Nottingham Forest again drawing with a team that would be considered, a lot higher and more experienced than they are in the Premier League. Drawing 1-1 with Everton, fantastic result for Nottingham. Southampton 2, Leicester City 1. Great game for Southampton. Didn't see them coming out on top of this one, but they ended up doing it. Leicester City in not the best vein of form at the moment as well. So, yeah. And then the next game, good to see Brentford got beat. Fulham 3, Brentford 2. What can you expect? Fulham actually starting to show themselves as a decent side in the Premier League this season. Next game, we had Crystal Palace 3, Aston Villa 1. Close game. Well, not really a close game, bit of a blowout, but between two evenly matched teams, Crystal Palace came out on top in this one. We have Arsenal 3, Bournemouth 0. Arsenal find themselves at the top of the league after 3 games. Must say, congratulations to them. What they're doing is working right now. And there's 4 games yet to be played. They will be played as of uploading. So you guys will be able to check out the results. It's going to be West Ham and Brighton, Leeds and Chelsea, Newcastle and City, and United and Liverpool. So they're going to be very interesting games. Now, match day 4, that will be the coming match day of when this video is uploaded, or this podcast episode is uploaded, I should say. On match day 4, we have Southampton, Man United, Chelsea, Leicester, Brighton, Leeds, City, Crystal Palace, Liverpool, Bournemouth, Brentford, Everton, Arsenal, Fulham, Wolves, and Newcastle. Then we have Aston Villa, West Ham, and Nottingham Forest and Tottenham. So that's a great match week, right there. I see United coming out on top against Southampton. I see Chelsea coming out on top against Leicester. I see Leeds coming out on top against Brighton. Man City over Crystal Palace. I see Liverpool over Bournemouth. I see Brentford over Everton. I see Arsenal over Fulham, Wolves over Newcastle. I see Tottenham over Nottingham, unfortunately, even though I'd love it to be a draw. And I see West Ham over Aston Villa. So that just wraps up the Premier League section of the Tahmana Sport recap. Now, the funny moment of this week, it's an interesting one. It's an interesting one. So we're actually just going to show it up on the screen as we speak. So we'll just show that up now.
Drop the ball. That's a shoey.
So what you're seeing here is a rugby league fan that got hit for a ban for doing a shoey during the game. Now, that's an interesting, topic there. It's a New Zealand Warriors fan that was handed a harsh lifetime ban after doing a shoey to celebrate a try in his side's 42-18 win over the Bulldogs on Friday night. Wraith, what are your thoughts on this?
Look, he bought a beer from the stadium, of course, didn't bring his own beer. If he brought his own beer in and he didn't buy it from the little shops in the fucking stadium, then the lifetime ban isn't. That's fine. But he bought it from the stadium at the game. He's just drinking it from his shoe. There's nothing wrong with that. And I'm pretty sure I even heard that he was drinking it from the cup, but in his shoe. Like he put the cup in his shoe and then he was drinking out of it. So he didn't even put the liquid in his shoe. So I don't get why he got a lifetime ban. I feel like that was unnecessary. Especially, it's an Aussie thing to do, NRL game. You get excited. I'd do a shoey too if I was him. So yeah, I reckon it was uncalled for, unnecessary, but a good, funny sport recap moment
Yeah,
this week.
it's an interesting one. But obviously, I don't think that ban should be in effect, and I really do hope that it gets appealed at some point.
Yeah, exactly. I feel like the funny moments we've had has um had something to do with shoeys. But yeah, it's definitely a funny
Yeah.
one.
Yeah. All right. Well, that concludes the Tahmana Sport recap for this week. Braith, I'm going to hand it over to you if you have anything else to speak about before we conclude the BNT Poddy.
All right. Just thanks so much for the support so far. We appreciate it. Thanks for sticking by and watching the first lot of the episodes of the season so far. We still have more to come. This is episode 5. Thanks so much for watching. Appreciate for all the support and all the likes and follows on Spotify, YouTube, TikTok. Check us out. The links will be down in the description. And we'll catch you guys in the next episode, lads. Stay with me, don't